I want to get your thoughts on this story because this was I don't know how I feel about this one. We're gonna jump to this next story. Joey, let me know what you think about this. So an ex-Space Force sergeant named Orest Sure.
That's another fake name.
He's very white too. Sentenced to 54 years in prison for fatally shooting suspected teen car thief. So this guy shot and killed a teenager, 14 years old, for attempting to steal his car. And he's now going to be spending 54 years in prison for shooting a
he could have got 20 months like the other guys.
Well, so the reason that I'm actually in agreement with the sentencing here is because it's not as simple as, oh, this guy came out and the kid was trying to steal his car. It's we'll read here. So it's a former U.S. Space Force sergeant who fired multiple rounds at two suspected carjackers outside his home. He killed a 14-year-old, has now been sentenced to over half a century in jail. Orest, 29, became emotional as he apologized for murdering the 14-year-old Xavier Kirk before he was sentenced to 54 years in prison for the 2023 fatal shooting. The Adams and Broomfield Counties District Attorney's Office announced, "I am sorry for the events that occurred that night, for the pain, for the grief, the trauma that followed, for the impact that my case had on so many lives." A tearful Sure told Aurora, Colorado courtroom on August 15th. The deadly shooting also left a 13-year-old hospitalized. So it was a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old in a separate car. So this is actually, let's break it down what actually happened. The then 27-year-old grabbed a pistol and ran outside to his Hyundai Elantra, where he spotted two people dressed in all black attempting to break into his car. Sure confronted the individuals, but the would-be carjackers then fled in another car. So if you're following here, he catches them breaking into his car. They see that they're caught. So they jump into another car and flee. So they do not have his car. They do not have his belongings. The sergeant gave chase in his own car, the one that they tried to break into, and he then fired multiple rounds at the teens while chasing them. The fleeing car crashed into the backyard fence of a home 4 blocks south of Schure's residence. Kirk and his teen accomplice hopped out of the damaged car and began running away as Schure continued to fire. Kirk was found suffering from gunshot wounds to the head and back. He was transported to a local hospital and pronounced dead. The 13-year-old who was driving the getaway car was shot in the back and managed to get to a relative's house before being brought to a hospital and survived.
Okay, so you're in agreement because they left the car, so he should have just stopped shooting.
I think he's in the wrong because he gave chase.
Yeah, once they left the car, he could have stopped. But
yes, if he,
I also understand like crime of passion. I think 54 years is excessive.
54 years is a bit excessive, but I mean the description of the chase here is pretty crazy. I mean, it's a 13 and 14-year-old. They don't have any weapons, at least from the story. Maybe they did in the car, but they don't have any weapons according to this, or at least any they tried to use. And, they obviously they get caught. They flee to their car. The guy gives chase, shoots at them while driving, causes them to crash. And then once they crash, he then continues to fire at them while they're running. Like, that's quite excessive. Like, I would have stopped that way before that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I would have given chase, but I wouldn't have opened fire. I would have maybe followed them while on the phone with 911. I could see that, but to follow and open fire, I don't know. That's quite excessive. That's why I'm in agreement here with the sentencing.
Concrete Hades, God, man, you're gonna be mayor. Or you're gonna be governor one day too.
What do you say?
He's just like it was unfortunate that the 13-year-old survived.
Wow.
Sheesh.
High school. Let's see. 2. As a civilian, you cannot give chase and use lethal force. That is murder. Exactly. Yeah, our sergeant's correct. And it should not be. Concrete Hades, that's ridiculous. You're just advocating for vigilante justice. That's what happens when you chase the car, lose sight of the car, find it again, chase them down, shoot the guy because he stole from you, and then it turns out it was a different car. Oh, well, you were in the right because you were getting yours. You were getting justice. Like, no, vigilante justice doesn't help anyone, man.
And unfortunately,
What?
Unfortunately, vigilante justice becomes prevalent when the faith in the system is lost. And when you see stories like earlier where they only get 20 months for
Yeah.
attempting to murder their daughter, that's how vigilante justice starts to sprout in people's minds. And I think that's probably a little bit of the energy that Concrete Hades is feeling. And
And
I can totally understand why people would get to that point. But you have to keep in mind that you're very emotional about how the system is essentially being co-opted. And if you take matters into your own hands, they're only going to use that against us. Think of it as like jujitsu. They're going to use our momentum against us. That's why we have to be even keel. The slave morality fights differently than the master morality. We have different tactics we need to use.
well, so
We
Monster
can't use
says,
their
"Wah
tactics.
wah." Only cops can do that, right?
Yeah,
No,
basically.
it's not about no. It's not even that only cops can do it. What I'm saying is, if someone commits a crime against you and they're not actively a threat against you, you cannot then go out and seek a punishment for them. If
I mean,
someone,
I don't think cops should be able. I mean,
well, I mean,
what's the difference?
cops are not infallible. They constantly do things wrong, but we have delegated the responsibility to them to mediate these issues. So yes, they are the ones that can go and do that. What I'm saying is, if someone's actively a threat to you, you do everything in your power to stop that threat. But once that threat has stopped, you have no power to do anything to that person once they've stopped. You don't get to, if I'm walking down the street and someone all of a sudden steals my wallet, for example, they slip it out of my pocket. I know they did it. I can't catch them. A week later, I see them on the street. That does not then give me the right to beat the shit out of them. As much as I would want to, you do not have the right to do that.
let me pull a TJ and play some devil's advocate here, though, because we talk about how trans surgeries for under 18 are not good because the kids don't have a full conscious of their mind. Like, you're talking about 14 and 13-year-olds. So
Yeah.
just because they're doing an act of stealing a car means now that they're in the right state of mind and they deserve to be chased down and killed.
Right, yeah. We'll say that children aren't in the right state of mind to make life-changing decisions, but then Concrete Hades will say that the 13-year-old should have died for making a life-changing decision. Like, good point, Joey. These are children. They don't exactly know the repercussions of what they're doing.
Now, listen, Concrete Hades, you say you absolutely have the right to beat his ass and get your property. That's very different than shooting him in the head.
Yeah, if look, let's add a caveat to that, right? Let's say the guy stole my wallet. Week later, I see him. He's actively has my wallet in his hands. I can go and take it from him. I can do that because he actively has my property. But if he stole my wallet, I see him on the street randomly. I don't know if he has my wallet or whatever. You just call the cops. You don't get to go over and beat the shit out of him, because when the cops show up and you tell them, "Oh, he stole my wallet a week ago," they're not going to give a fuck.
Well, I also, this is why I like I don't remember who brought it up, but the idea of like private security over cops, because private security will just try to make sure conflicts don't happen as opposed to enforcing a law.
Yeah.
Because in my experience in New York City, and it's unacceptable, my high school was connected to a park, and we were literally down the block from a police precinct. I mean, like, the park was on 2nd Avenue, and the police precinct was on Lexington Avenue, which is 2 avenue blocks up. So it's basically like a 3-minute walk. And a big fight broke out once in the park. And you know how long it took the cops to get there?
3 hours.
45 minutes.
Oh.
It took them 45 minutes to just come down the goddamn block.
Yeah, I've had family members getting chased from crazy people that they were getting in fights with, and the cops, they're like on the phone with the cops, and the cops are like, "Oh, just drive to the station. We can't get to you right now." And it's like, are you serious? You're telling me to drive to the station?
But killing it, sense what you're saying is this is different though, because us on the right, or pro freedom people, we point out constantly how we need to have ID checks online because pornography is bad, especially for under 18s. We can't allow them to see adult content. They're not allowed to make life-changing decisions. But because probably young hooligans, overstepped their bounds and decided to steal a car, now we can treat them like adults. So there are certain behaviors where apparently they have full inhibition of their mind. Okay, stealing a car, we're still talking about under 18, and we're talking about under 16 too, where 16 in some states would be tried as an adult.
We're also talking about the fact that they didn't get the car. They tried to get the car. They didn't have possession of the car. They weren't in the car. They were actively trying to get in the car. He scared them off. They ran away. He gave chase. At that point, he's in the wrong. I'm sorry.
Right.
What I said was what he could have done if he wanted to follow them. That's fine. Follow them, get their license plate, follow them to their house, whatever, call 911 and follow them. Why are you opening fire? Like, and I get what you're saying, like, oh, they stole from me, that's money, that's taking my life. The government steals from you every day. That doesn't mean you can go and kill people in the government. If that's the point. If someone's not actively hurting you, you don't have a right to go and hurt them. That's not how this works.
I'm glad you said that, Concrete Hades. You guys keep ignoring the next victim down the line. Okay, so now we're doing Minority Report here. We're doing predictive crime. We're trying to predict when crimes happen, because the fact that they were thwarted and potentially going to get into a conflict where they could get shot, like that might be enough for them to second guess it now. But you're trying to predict the crime. I don't like that. I don't like when we're trying to predict the crime. That's how you turn into a police state.
Hades, I see you want to come up right now. I do want to move on to the next story. Hades, DM me and we'll see about working out a show on Friday. You can come on and argue with me.
If he's not working,
we'll figure out a day. I'll make a time. You can come on and argue with me. We'll bring it back up.
And listen, I am very flexible when it comes to self-defense, because a lot of the times you don't have that moment to make that decision. But if they had no weapons and they already failed and were running away, you can't give chase like that.
You know what's funny, Joey, is how many people have I angered with my hard stance on self-defense?
Yeah, like you're like, I'm not going to fight you because I don't know what could happen. I'm just going to shoot you.
I've repeatedly said that. I've repeatedly said that I will not fight. If someone is fighting me, I'm going to take it as you're trying to kill me, because I will never enter a fight. So if someone's fighting me, I'm going to assume that they're trying to kill me, and I will end the fight however I need to. That's my
Tyler,
stance.
You have to watch Minority Report with the girlfriend this weekend. You have to watch it.
I have to.
You have to, because you're gonna watch it and you're gonna understand.
I think my brother's coming over for his birthday this weekend.
You're gonna understand what I'm saying about you're trying to. It's like some sort of like they're able to like kind of travel through time because they're trying to predict bad behavior before it happens.
Monster
and
said
it's like that's
no. I know what Minority Report is, but Monster again, he said needs to be a better shot. You're defending a guy that was shooting a firearm while driving after two teenagers. Like, just to put it into context, you're saying that he needs to be a better shot while firing a handgun while driving, chasing two teenagers. Like, it just, I don't get how I'm the crazy one in this.
You could, if you want to bring them up, you got 15 minutes or even more.
I have so many stories I wanted to talk about. You and I talk too much.
I know. We make too many good points.
I know, that's the issue. And now I have a bunch of stories for tomorrow, I guess, but it's like, fuck.
Well, there's no, you know how the Trump administration works. They drop news on Friday like everybody else.
All right. Well, okay, we're going to move on. Because as it says, all I wanted to point out here was that it said that during the trial, Schur claimed the two potential carjackers had shot first. Investigators found that was not true. There was never any evidence of any weapons on the children. And all 11 shell casings that were fired by Schur. So
killing it since they did not steal the car. They failed.
They didn't steal the car. If you guys want to make the argument that he's allowed to shoot at them because they actively have his car, they have his property, that's a different discussion. What we're talking about this in specific, the specific situation. If you want to bring up another story in which someone actually stole the car and then got shot, we could talk about that. What we're talking about is two teenagers that didn't successfully steal a car, fled in a separate vehicle, and were chased by the person they tried to rob from. No, they didn't. Hades. No, they didn't. I have to correct you again there, Hades. They stole the car. You don't have to get away for it to be stealing. They didn't steal the car. They didn't even get in the car.
They attempted to steal the car.
They attempted to steal the car. So again,
they were not
you
successful.
don't have the right. You don't have the right to open fire on someone once they've left. Once they're no longer an active threat to you. I don't have to keep repeating it. And he shot them in the back. That too. They weren't targeting him. They weren't trying to fight him. He shot them in the back. There's so many different things in this case. What else is in the news? Yeah, let's move on. Anyway, let's see.